Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, April 13th, also known as Palm Sunday, and it is a beautiful day out today. I have a lot to share with you all this week. A lot has happened. The good news was my drug shipment finally came on Wednesday, nearly a week late, but nonetheless it came. I went to Walmart and lucked out this week and happened to catch them just as they were putting out Easter lilies. So you see, I was able to get these lilies. None of the flowers were open when I bought them. So I have two here, one more there, and I show you the hyacinth I bought later. But in any event, it's a beautifully sunny day today. I had forgotten how fragrant Easter lilies were. This front porch is absolutely full of scent. There's also a hyacinth down there. And I noticed my plants are really greening up, especially this Christmas cactus. And it turns out I had miscalculated. You may recall how I've been telling y'all I fertilize my plants here every week or every other week with a half strength of Miracle-Gro. Well, come to find out, I was doing a full strength of Miracle-Gro. I finally put my glasses on and read the instructions in detail. However, none of my plants seem to be any the worse for wear, and especially this Christmas cactus has put on a lot of new growth, so it didn't do it any harm, but I've backed off to where it should be. So everything in here looks fine. I do plan on breaking up my nun's orchid this week. I just didn't get to it. I did a lot of potting, repotting, and moving pots around, but the Easter lilies really look nice. I do take the stamens off. That way the flowers last a little longer. Let's go for a walk. I did go ahead and bring my geraniums or pelargoniums to the front. These are 3-year-old in these pots. And the birds put in the sedum at the bottom. This one, I split that one up and put it over there just so they'd be even. Sedum can become a pest in a zone 9A because if you drop a little sprig on the ground, all the sedum I got, well, I take that back. I bought one small container of that sedum, but the majority of it I got from just a single cutting about 1 inch long that was in a flower pot of something I had bought. Here you can see the amaryllis are doing well. We finally did get the storm last week that was predicted. It was late in the day, and we got 8 inches of rain in about 4 hours. So the amaryllis are little the worse for wear if you get up close, but they look beautiful from a distance. These are red lion. More red lion. You really can see the fruit on the cycad. It's starting to ripen. Ginger lilies back there. Butterfly gingers are doing well. Bananas are doing well. Even the gardenias. I had cut them back and they're greening up nicely. I did go ahead and trim up my fig tree. What I did was I noticed how it was sprouting at the base, but not at the top. So what I did is I took a penknife and scraped the bark. And if it's green underneath, it's alive. If it's brown, it's dead. So basically, I think this one was the one that determined how tall all the others were. It was dead about down to where you see it here. And then I cut the others just to sort of even it up. So that should sprout out some more from the tips. Back in here, my crinum lily is in full bloom. I wish you could smell it. It's very sweet. My walking iris have buds. Hopefully you can see them. They're not opened yet. That is my sable palmetto, sable minor. And my iris hexagoni are blooming. They are really all blooming at once. They are gorgeous. They're probably going to be the flower of the week. The term Louisiana iris was coined by Audubon, but the first person to discover this particular iris was Walker. He wrote about it. Let's see, my little mnemonic is Walker set the record straight in 1788. It was discovered in 1788. Back in here, the birds were really using this bird bath. Now that I've cut back these nandinas, I can really see the birds bathing here, and I can see them eating at the bird feeder. Impatiens are looking good. So far, no slug damage. All of the plants back here are really sprouting up nicely. A lot of new growth. Of course, everything was fertilized. A lot of new growth on the gardenias. Mental blank there. I do need to go ahead and prune this Rose of Sharon because it has just flopped over from all the winds we had, and it won't go straight, so I'll probably cut it by half. And hopefully it'll strengthen and straighten up. Even my yellow plant is doing well. Not too many flowers left, but they're still here and there. Even the encore azaleas are doing well. Gardenias. I have a mental block on gardenias. Even my yellow gardenia is doing well. All of my gardenias but one, which I'll show you in the backyard, are sprouting. I hope that one lives because it's one of a matching set of 4. It would really be a pain if one dies. The Potager is looking fantastic. That dill I bought as plants. That dill I bought as seed. And it's coming up nicely. That is lemongrass. And it's got a few sprigs that came up. On that side, the lemongrass did better. But I have got a bunch of flowers on my blackberries. So I'm looking forward to some blackberries this year. I never did get to dividing my marjoram. Lemon balm could probably be divided too, but to be truthful, I don't need any more lemon balm. I don't really know what to do with it. You can make tea with it, but there's only so much tea that you can drink that tastes like lemon. Uh-oh, something's been eating my herbs. I do have French marigolds here. You'll see more in the backyard. They are edible. The flowers are, at least. And there you see my lavender. Lavender, I can smell the lavender from here. I had to cut my cilantro back because it had gotten too leggy. And I bought some Mexican tarragon. Put it back there. And of course I have 3 broccoli. Really, the parsley is looking beautiful. I made some meatballs yesterday. Maybe I'll put some fresh parsley in that. Here you still see the beautiful blooms of the English dogwood, Philadelphias. Snapdragons are blooming. Those are all plants I got last year. So they've winter overed. That dianthus, I don't know if I'm pointing to it or not. The sun is in my eyes here. That's there for, this is its 3rd year. And since I went to Walmart, they had beautiful potted tomatoes with tomatoes for not but like $12. I thought that was dirt cheap, so I bought me one. I see I have to water it because it's one bad thing about tomatoes. If you ever let them dry out, even briefly, they will drop all their fruit. So you have to keep them moist. Here you can see my Australian tree fern is being smothered by the leaves that keep multiplying. I do have a place for these leaves. It's just not ready yet. They're going to go around the garage once when the painting is complete, which you'll see more of later. At least the first coats are on, but it's not quite finished yet. The garage, that is. But this is coming back nicely. The central stalk has sprouted. I don't see anything yet here, but at least the central stalk has come up. Here is a different lavender, which my shadow is in right now. But that one is, I think, going on its 3rd year. I did notice yesterday, oh, I stepped on something. There you can see 2 there, a bunch there, and 1 over there. Those are the datura seedlings. Daturas aren't hardy here, but the seeds are very fertile. And that was the double purple form. Here all is well. I do need to keep my toad lily out of the ivy. And now let's go into the backyard. There you can see the angel's trumpet is doing really well. I've got some cushions out on the back deck, and my fountains are on. My vine is doing really well here. Virginia creeper. Cats keep messing with that. Easter lilies are coming up nicely, as is my other Lenten rose. Lots of buds here on my fortnight lily, African iris. There's a sneak peek at the garage. The turquoise looks good. It's very bright in the sun. I did want to mention here with the coppicing of the crepe myrtle, one thing you do have to watch out for is the way it grows back. Let me get my footing here. But you can see how it grew into this clump of just tangled mess. What I like to do is I like to pinch out anything that in any way moves downward. You could probably prune this to be a weeping shrub if you want to, but I like to prune anything that's facing downward out and then thin some of these that are facing upward. Eventually I prune it to about 6 or 7 stems, but I do it in stages. The main reason I do it in stages is the birds. It is amazing how the birds like to land on those little sticks and break them off. So there you have an example of how I prune. Let me get out of this hole I'm in. But I take about a third of them off at a time. I'll take a little bit more yet off the top of that. But I did the other two branches. And you see, I'm still going to thin them down by about half. I only want about 4 or 5 branches on each one of those sticks ultimately. But that's how easy it is to prune these. I'll fiddle with it more later. Easter lilies are budding up. But no, those are last year's Easter lilies. I will put this year's in the same clumps after they bloom in the house. And here you can see the color of the garage. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the color. I have to admit, it is bright when the sun shines on it. That reflects all over the place. Now you have to picture this. They have one more coat to do on some sections of the garage. And next week, we're going to be getting a bronze metal roof, similar to what my neighbor has on her garage, on the roof of this, and the back side of the garage facing the neighbor. So the neighbor will have a bronze-colored wall and not the turquoise. But there's only about a foot of clearance back there, so I don't ever have to get back there again to do any painting. I did do a little bit of work. Oh, something's been in Gatto's water dish because there's mud in there. It's possible Gatto is here. He is my tortoise that comes every year. This area is going to be cleaned up, and I do plan on putting maybe a little table and chairs back here to make it more usable. I flipped that pot over and at least temporarily filled it up with dirt. Well, not, it's going to stay filled up with dirt. I planted asparagus in that, but I am rethinking that thought. I may put the asparagus, I probably will put the asparagus in pots, like nursery pots, and leave them so that they sprout. Asparagus takes 3 years before you can harvest anything. And although I am hopeful, I'm also somewhat realistic that I don't want that pot tied up for 3 years without much showing. So I'm thinking of getting a patio tree of some kind. But since I bought the asparagus, I will go ahead and stick them in smaller pots and let them grow there. So if they live, if you can buy 2-year-old plants, just not down south. That way you could have them the next year. I did put the stuff back on the deck. It's starting to look really good. I do like the way all the new wood looks on that. I did move my toad lilies to a more sunnier spot, or a sunnier spot. They seem to be okay so far. This is where all those leaves, or a bunch of those leaves, are going to go. I'm losing the, I used to have a lot of tall stuff by the garage to cover the damage to the garage, and I have no need for that now that the garage looks good. So I'm going to be weeding out all of the alstroemeria, which is really a wild plant, and I'm also going to be weeding out all of the tall ginger lilies. I used to have a collection of ginger lilies, but I'm getting too old to maintain them. Ginger lilies are a pain because you have to cut them back in the spring because they die back. And I'll show you an example of one over here. That is a cardamom ginger. I ain't got time for that. So I'll keep one, but most of the other ones are going to go. I do like butterfly gingers, so I will keep the butterfly gingers. Here you see the only 4, there's one but it didn't bloom, apple blossom. It's the orange, white, striped version of amaryllis. This is the camellia I'm worried about. I see no new growth activity on it yet. That's what I mean. That one you can see, that one you can see, and that one you can see. Plenty of new growth. But this one, not so much. It still has green leaves. I fertilized it like the rest. I'm watering it like the rest. Hopefully, it will survive. This crepe myrtle's looking okay. It had a few taller sticks on this branch, but one of my kittens likes to climb. Enough said. You not only have to worry about birds, but you have to worry about cats too. There you can see the top of my Canary Island date palm. We didn't get to cleaning that up yet, but we will. This fountain looks good in the sun. This is where the short was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know exactly what the problem was, but I turned it on and it worked. So I didn't ask any questions. I'm going to be working on this area this week, cleaning up the nandinas. They need a little nip and tuck at the top. And here's where my ground orchids go. And also when I repot them, this is where my nuns orchids are going to grow. Or in pots at least, they're going to go for the summers. So this will be sort of my orchid summering section. And I do have some cuttings of coleus to put in that pot. So just needs a little cleanup. No big deal. This palm looks great. Well, I brought the clippers out here yesterday and never did do what I brought the clippers out here for. My blackberries have little berries already. But that one errant branch over there I was going to cut off yesterday and got carried away cutting something else off instead. Cycad coming back nicely. And the jasmine is leafing out nicely. I do need to get rid of the vine that's growing on the top of the fence because it will destroy the fence. It'll break through the slats and split them apart. This is perfectly good prime rooting stock. Should you have a forsythia, if you can snap it with your fingers like that, that's perfect for rooting. You would break these bottom leaves off. Roots are going to come at a node. Stick it in water, and probably in about 3 weeks or so, you'll have roots. Another option is you could stick it in moist sand, and it would root as well. Forsythias are very easy to root. My plum, Ozark plum, has leafed out to the very tippy top, which is great. I should have some fruit because it had a lot of blossoms up there. I like the fact that it is now even with the kumquat. So Eve is surrounded by fruit. Kumquat, plum, and satsuma behind. Strawberries in front. I have a ripe, almost ripe strawberry. And here you can see the wild spiderwort. I do like the color of that. Same color as the Louisiana iris. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking of putting some Louisiana iris tucked in the corners of the garage here. It'll have some color around the camellias and evergreens. This little nook looks a lot better back in here. I have to spray this particular, I don't know what it is that's eating the leaves, but they keep disappearing on a daily basis. So I need to spray. But this is looking really good back here. I'm not going to be putting the storm door back on, or the screen door back on there. That's really a tool shed in there. And at one time I planned on being able to work in that tool shed. So that's why I put the screen door there. However, it has since become a junk storage area, which I don't work in. And the storm door is more a hindrance. So there you can see some of the paint. So again, this turquoise is going on the 3 sides, but there'll be the bronze metal on the back of the garage. You'll see that next week, hopefully. back in here, David is being smothered by all of the Fatsia japonicas. Oh, my ginger lilies here are coming back. This needs a little prune up, a nip and tuck. Otherwise, David will disappear into the bushes. I did not fertilize these Fatsias. The main reason being, that's one thing when you have palm trees. Palms are heavy. They use a lot of fertilizer. They're heavy feeders. And so the runoff from the palm fertilizer is more than enough to take care of the Fatsias. It's actually kind of a nice view again through here. It's been such a long time since the garage has looked good. It also looks good open without all the plants at the bottom of it. Up here, this is where I brought the pansies from the front steps. There used to be, that's where the two geraniums were, but I figured with these now in pots, you don't need the ones underneath. And I must say, they have grown extremely well. I'd say they've doubled in size since I bought them. They're looking fantastic. There are more marigolds, tagetes. The flowers are edible. I don't know about the leaves. You'll have to read up on that. I did weed, I should say I hoed the vinca. The gardenias there are still nice and green. I don't expect much growth or flowers from them this year. This little clump of herbs has done really well. And the, what is this? Papyrus is really doing well. It was spindly last year, and I was afraid to cut back those long shoots that were sticking out of the pot. And it was only growing on the tips of those long shoots. So when I cut them back, it is sprouting in the main section again, which is good. That is mint I got from New York, from my grandmother's garden. Chocolate mint. What's that? That is thyme, some basil. The seeds have not yet resprouted that the birds took of my borage. Borage is a good herb for shade. It'll live nicely in the shade. It has blue flowers. You can eat the young leaves and the flowers. Older leaves develop I don't want to say thorns, but it's kind of fuzzy. You wouldn't want to eat them. You could, I guess. I had to bring the spritz bottle out today. I was sitting here. I've already moved the equisetum once. And Dilly, one of the kittens, likes to chew on the equisetum. And I moved it away, and she was sitting on that the stool there and was actually reaching with her paw to grab the tall pieces of the equisetum to bring them closer so she could chew on them. Hence, she discovered the squirt bottle. This is one of the torch begonias I brought planted or potted up. And those are the coleus that will go into the little shade garden. This I definitely put the heliotrope. I put here near the chair because it smells so good. It's a sweet smell. Some people say raspberries or cherry pie. I don't really smell either, but it is a sweet smell nonetheless. There's Dilly. That's the one that likes to chew on the equisetum. Here you can see the desert rose is still in bloom. It has a few more to go. Nothing here was damaged by the 8 inches of rain. Dilly is actually getting tame. He or she will be fixed before you know it. This is where I put all of the other cuttings I had taken of the torch begonia. I don't see any new pictures yet. They're forming at the tips of these branches, but these are still old pictures from last year yet. It's got a lot of new growth. That one died out. Sometimes the pictures dry up at the edges. We'll have to see. Hopefully it'll get new pictures. Dilly doesn't like to be filmed. I did thin out my radishes. The radishes got really beat back by the rain. I'm not crazy about radish, but they're a nice plant. I guess they sprouted within 3 or 4 days after planting. I did buy another one of those. I do like hostas. That one I've had in that pot for probably 5 or 6 years, and it has spread. This one's a taller one, but I like the idea. It has like a seersucker effect. It did not have a name. I got it from Walmart. Some things aren't named at Walmart. But I like the blue color of the leaves and the fact that it's got like a seersucker effect. So since I had luck with that one, I thought I'd try another one. So there you have it for the day. I hope you all get to get out in your yard and enjoy it. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. Here, it's definitely spring. It's actually turning into, I don't want to dare say it, summer yet, but it's starting to get warmer. And I will leave you with a picture of the almost finished garage. Until next week, take care.